UFO videos, scientific papers on UFOs, and a whole lot more. It's time for another UFO News Roundup. So get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, this has been making the rounds. This is a UFO caught on Korean network TV. Check it out.
자, 여기 그런데 이때 지금 보셨어요? 슝 보셨습니까? 슝 이거 입에서 나는 소리가 아닙니다. 입은 가만히 있잖아요. 슝 너무 빨라서 잘 안
보이는 guys.
보이지 않으셨죠?
Love it.
자, 이거
that is a great UFO. Now, is that actually a saucer? What are we looking at? What is that thing? Is that a does it just look lenticular because it's going really fast? Is that more orb-like? Is that more saucer-like? I'm thinking that's more saucer-like. I think that's a soccer. That's a saucer. That's a saucer checking out some golf. Got some golf fans in the stars, guys. Good to know. Good to know. All right, check out. This is another good UFO video. UFO activity recorded in the province of San Luis, Argentina from a fixed camera on a communication antenna. That is all the information available at the moment, but let's check it out. Let's check it out. Ooh, cool. I love it when they look like they're kind of like swimming around in the sky. You get that sometimes even more dramatically than this. But really cool. Nice capture from Argentina. Man, there's just so much going on in South America. What is going on down there? But that is an awesome capture. Love it. All right, and check this out. This is also really cool. This is all, speaking of South America, this is, in the Amazon, they're using LiDAR to reveal these ancient cities lost in the Amazon jungle. And now we're getting computer reconstructions of what they might have looked like. It's really cool, guys. I'm just super fascinated by the lost civilizations of the Amazon. And, what relationship do they have to the phenomenon, right? We know the phenomenon was very active in South America. It still is active in South America. So were these peoples living in these communities, fascinating communities with pyramidal structures, were they in contact with the phenomenon? It wouldn't surprise me. Ayahuasca came from there. Ayahuasca is a connection from to the gods or to the higher dimensions or whatever. I wish I understood ayahuasca better. I've been to 10 ceremonies. There's people that have been to hundreds. I wish I understood it. But this is a brilliant reconstruction of what these ancient civilizations may have looked like. Then you can see, they were kind of small, but there were many of them, and they were all connected. Forming this interesting, totally different paradigm for what we think of as cities, right? It's not all centralized, it's spread out, but still basically a city. I just think that's super fascinating. And apparently it all has to do with agriculture and how their version of agriculture didn't have to be centralized like ours does. Thus, they didn't have need for a centralized authority and a centralized community. So just a totally different paradigm for civilization. I just love it. I think that's so cool. I'm glad we're finding out more about it. I can't wait to find out what interactions they may have had with the phenomenon, because we know the phenomenon was very, very active in that area during that time, or that general area. Obviously, South America and Central America are huge, but they were right there, right? Nazca, not that far away. And, Peru, is still, very, the phenomenon is still very present there. And, the Amazon extends into Peru. So let's see what else we get. All right, Grant Cameron releases a survey of experiencers. And this was really cool because, Grant Cameron, who I interviewed. And if you haven't seen the fantastic interview with Grant Cameron, go check it out. He is just a delight, to listen to and to talk to. He's got so much knowledge. And he speaks so fast. I've heard some people actually had to slow that interview down to get all his wisdom. But yeah, he wrote a book about experiencers who get to pilot the craft, which is not super uncommon. But how uncommon is it? Well, there's actually a survey to show how common that is. And it's about 13.5% of experiencers that took this survey that did survey thousands of people. 13.5% of the experiencers piloted the craft. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? Of course, then it makes you wonder about like the Mike Herrera information and how the control group is capturing people that have abilities to pilot craft. They have these psychic abilities to interact with technology, and they're totally misusing them. So, it's so sad. It's so sad, but the phenomenon, if you are an experiencer, you are, you have a chance. 13.5%. We now know the percentage if the survey is at all, indicative of, the broader scope of interactions. 13.5% chance of flying a UFO. That's crazy. It's crazy. I love it. Meanwhile, there is a timeline of every specimen recovered from Nazca. And I think it even extends beyond Nazca. But the mummies, the alien mummies, we got bodies, y'all. We got bodies. And now there's a timeline showing when and where these specimens come from. This is super cool. I wish it were in English. I wish there was an English version of this. And maybe there will be at some point. But I just think this is super cool, guys. Maria came from that timeline, and Victoria came from there, and it shows the location and also the year, or the estimated year. Of course, the giants come from way far back, thousands of years ago. And, I'm really optimistic that we're going to get to see a giant specimen displayed. I have a suspicion we may only get to see the head, but we'll see. We'll see. Fingers crossed. Wouldn't it be cool to see a giant alien body displayed at the next Nazca mummy hearing? Wouldn't that be amazing? Yeah, I would like to see people call that a doll. That would be a game changer. That would be a game changer. Let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, we got another UFO. This is really cool. All right, this is making the rounds.
It looks like a UFO, right? That's a UFO.
Christian.
It's just staying right there. Look, it's just above there.
Are you recording it?
Yeah. That's a UFO. You can just see it.
Well, hide,
Bro, you can just see it. It's like the
Just keep recording it.
It's only on YouTube.
I love how excited they are. The kids watching a UFO, and they're just so excited. They're excited, but it's not like ontological shock excited. Oh, wow, it's a UFO. That's cool.
Here.
Look at that.
Are you recording it?
Yeah.
And yeah, so it looks to me like a circular object with lights all around it. I can see an argument made for it being triangular, but to me it looks more circular. Trying to get a good of the circular shot. Yeah, well, anyway, I'll let y'all zoom in and play with it, but anyway, I think it's a really cool UFO sighting. Is it one of ours? Is it one of theirs? I tend to think that our UFOs are probably more clandestine. That's black project stuff that, they don't want people to see, so they're probably not flying around in the skies with their lights on too often, although I'm sure they do get caught on camera from time to time. The phenomenon is also very clandestine, but sometimes it wants to be, it wants people to see it. So even money, but I guess I'm leaning toward it being them, not us. But let me know what you think. Let me know what you think, or if you think it's all BS. Meanwhile, this is just super cool, guys. Look at this, a whale shark swimming through the stars, or at least that's what it looks like. That is majestic and beautiful. Yeah, this is a real whale shark swimming through the water. Not CGI or anything, but that's what it looks like. That is just gorgeous. Love it. Nature is amazing, guys. Nature is beautiful. All right, let's see what else we got, guys. All right, why it's difficult to change Mick West's mind. Yeah, let's listen to an actual doctor talk about why people don't want to open their minds to new ideas.
Why is it so hard to change someone's mind? Let's talk about it. If you're new to my channel, I'm of course Rachel, the neuroscientist. The brain really doesn't like changing its mind, and that gives rise to things like the confirmation bias, anchoring bias. Confirmation bias means that we'll actually selectively filter out information that is incongruent with our existing beliefs. Even if we do process that information, we'll give it a lot less weight than we would with something that actually aligns with our existing ideas. Anchoring bias is where we hold on to the very first thing that we learn about something, and it's hard for us to let go of that, even when we're presented with evidence that suggests that it's not accurate. What a terrible design! Why are we like this? Well, neuroscientifically speaking, once you learn something, your brain has to restructure and rewire itself. We also instinctively perceive change, uncertainty, unpredictability as inherently dangerous. Sticking to what's familiar can obviously serve as an evolutionary advantage. The last and perhaps more psychological component of that is that our ideas tend to be tethered to our identity, and the brain really doesn't like threats to identity. Your sense of self involves so many different structures, memories, processes in the brain. To rewrite that would be very complicated, and in the daily struggle for survival, potentially fatal.
Yeah, speaking as someone who lived most of my life not believing in UFOs or any of this stuff, I was definitely set in my ways and didn't want to change. And, I like to think I was open-minded, and occasionally I would watch a UFO documentary or something, and I thought it was fun to think about, but I didn't believe in it. And then 2017 happened, and it made me think, well, maybe there's something there. And I had to find out. So, thus began my research and, my obsessive research. I'm a novelist and I don't have a day job, and I was able to devote all my time, because I have an obsessive personality, to researching UFOs. And, it took a lot of convincing to get me to believe in it, because I was just stuck in this way of thinking. And, it was like she said, it was a threat to my identity. To identify as one of these wacky UFO people, right? And then once you get into the even wackier stuff, the metaphysical tie-ins, abductions, Bigfoot, you name it. Do I want to be that person? Those people are crazy. But maybe they're right, guys. Maybe they're right. I think they are. I think now I am. We are. But it was a big change. And I totally understand why a lot of people resist that. Like she says, it's all part of our how our brains work, and they don't want to change. They don't want to change their minds, or we don't want to change our minds. Our minds don't want to change. Our minds actually fundamentally don't want to change. And so it takes a little work. Maybe we need to develop new ways to open people up to this, ways that are more, organic, if you will. Literally more organic to make it friendlier for our brains to process new ways of thinking. I don't know what that would be, but if you have any ideas, let me know in the comments below, because, guys, that could be super helpful if we could break the news to people in a way that would enable them to accept it, or at least to begin researching it themselves. I think that'd be super helpful. And this is just a really beautiful article here. Really sad, poignant article from the Huffington Post. From this gentleman. It was a editorial from this gentleman, and his name is David Riddle, and his father was an experiencer. His father was an experiencer, a rancher, who the beings would set their craft down on his property repeatedly, and they would do cattle mutilations, but they also seemed to just use his property as a place to come and go from, and he would see them all the time. I believe he was also an abductee. There it says abductee right there. And, he was ridiculed by the community, this rural community in Wyoming, this ranching community, and ruined his life. He also said the government stepped in and also ruined his life because he was talking about this. But he would actually bring people out to the ranch, even reporters, and they would see this stuff. And, they wouldn't apparently come right out and say, hey, aliens are here and it's all real. But they would say, we left less skeptical than when we arrived. So, it was probably about as far as they could go at the time, but it seems to have ruined his life. And his son was, the author's father. So that's the father. The son actually bought it. He bought the ridicule. He actually turned on his father and would laugh when other people in his school would make jokes about it. And, he thought his father was crazy. And his father later became homeless and just lived a really tragic life, just totally broken by this. But now the son, after, 2017 and David Grush, the son realizes that the phenomenon is real. And that his father really, got a raw deal, and he feels bad about, laughing, and it's just so sad that I'm sure that is just symptomatic of so many experiencers that have been ridiculed. Even their own family has been brainwashed to ridicule them and to think that what they went through was a joke. But as the son says in this very well-written article, apparently he's a writer now, the son says there's nothing to laugh at. There's nothing to laugh at, and he never should have laughed. So a really poignant article, and if you have time, give it, check it out. I'll link to it below. Okay, now check this out. This is a scientific paper, detection of UFOs and quantitative analysis of their motion using high-speed infrared video. And Jack Sephardi and Chris Lato have both chimed in on this Reddit post. And I'm not going to read the scientific paper to you guys, but I'll certainly link to it below, and you can read it at your leisure. And it's just really interesting. Here's what Jack Sephardi said about it. Looks pretty good. Lots of evidence already out there using this technique, but it's being studiously ignored. I replied, plenty of smoking gun data in this paper. So yes, smoking gun data in this paper, guys. And then Chris Lato also chimes in. Yeah, Chris Lato is back, or at least he's sticking his head up to comment on this paper. And he says, I think he used AI and his prompt was summarize, clean up, and explain this like talking to a 10th grader. I would need a 5th grader. 10th grader's too advanced, Chris. You should have done the 5th grade. But yeah, here's a simplified summary of the key points from the document, explained for a 10th grader, the AI says. The document talks about a theory where each new dimension brings a new physical concept. In one dimension, you just have a line with no time or motion. 2 dimensions lets you show motion and change over time by tracking where something is on a plane at different moments. This brings in the idea of velocity. 3 dimensions adds depth, letting you have things like angular momentum and orbits by moving through 3D space. Angular momentum needs 3D space to work. 4 dimensions introduces the idea of density. Low compacted or spread out something's mass is in space. Density is key for gravity and how matter forms structures. So the theory is 1D just position, 2D adds time, 3D adds angular momentum, 4D adds density, and yeah, so I will let you read this. Even the simplified version of it is huge. Look at this simplified version of this paper, guys. Look at the simplified version. Yeah, and Chris goes into his love theory also. Yeah, really good stuff. Really good stuff. Might be worth your time if you have a scientific bent. I do not. Let's see. Meanwhile, Diana Pasulka says, a producer from the Game of Thrones has optioned American Cosmic in Encounters to develop a TV series. I love it. Tim Taylor could be, a character. He could be the star, right? I'd probably be Diana would be the star, the investigative reporter and writer. But meeting these colorful characters in this cast of characters. But yeah, there's some interesting figures in American Cosmic, and of course Tim Taylor is connected to some really juicy stuff. And there's the Chris Bledsoe and everything. Could Chris Bledsoe be a character in American Cosmic? I mean, you would think he would be, right? Could the lady be a character? Would they go that far? Would they have the lady? I mean, why not, right? Why not bring the lady in to this TV show? That would be fantastic. Who would play the lady? Kate Blanchett? Nah, too obvious. Too obvious. Who do you think should play the lady? Or Chris? Who could play who could play Chris Bledsoe or Tim Taylor? Anyway, Tim Tyler. Just fascinating, guys. I love it. I love it. We are living in the age of UFO disclosure, guys. The era in which the lady could be played on screen by an actress. Theoretically, I don't know where they're going to take this show. It could try to steer very nuts and bolts. It totally could. So that's where Beyond Skinwalker Ranch, the episode on Chris Bledsoe, was a very nuts and bolts episode, right? It dealt a little bit with psionic stuff, psychic abilities, but even that was nuts and bolts. I mean, they had the scientific gear up, rigged to his head to see what his brain was doing when he was summoning the UFOs. And they were able to catch what his brain was doing. And it was super fascinating, going instantly into these deep Zen-like states. And I've talked before that there has been a study done on South American experiencers and how they instantly go into those same almost meditative states when they're interacting with the UFOs. So Chris isn't the only one that can do that. So that was a more nuts and bolts approach, right? Even though it's dealing with crazy stuff. So I don't know if the show is going to veer in that direction, if it actually, manifests at all. A lot of these things get optioned and then nothing ever comes of it. But if something does come of that, do you think it's going to go in a more nuts and bolts direction or more fantastic? I mean, the Game of Thrones guys obviously have done fantasy before, so it could go there, guys. It could go there. We could get the lady on screen. That'd be super cool. Okay, let me know what you think about that and everything else covered today in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Smash the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, links below. Love to see you guys there. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in an even bigger way, please consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store below. Or heck, I'm a science fiction fantasy writer. Buy one of my books. See the link below. Or you can become a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you so much. Meanwhile, there are plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.